So my wife asked me this question the other day. Do you think that everything is predetermined, or do you think that you can choose your own destiny? And I think that's a really interesting question, but I think that the answer is not so simple. If everything was destined or predetermined, then you could argue that people with the similar circumstance in their life should have similar outcomes. But that's not necessarily the case because of the choices they make. So, if everything was predetermined, it was predetermined by who? Or by what? That's the interesting thing. And if you made the argument that everything was predetermined, but not because of someone or something causing it, just because of the nature of reality, that everything was a sequence of events and everything was going to happen the way they were going to happen. Obviously that would be something that you could use to make the simulation theory sound more believable. And I'm not totally against the simulation theory. It could be possible. It's not impossible. But if everything is predetermined, then does that mean that our choices don't mean anything? And let's say if you're going to buy a car and the dealership screws you over, was the dealership always going to screw you over? What if you met someone in the street that day that told you, some story, and it changed your mind, and you went and you met his cousin, and his cousin had the deal of a century in his garage and he sold it to you? So it's very difficult for me to wrap my head around the idea that everything is predetermined, because that would be so vast. The amount of people there are on the planet and the amount of decisions that are being made every second must be held somewhere, or it just doesn't sound logical, that everything would be planned out, because we have so many different options, especially today with so much information coming at you. That means that the internet was planned to come out. This guy was planned to make this website that you went to on this day, that made you make this decision, that made you go outside, that made you go to that store, that made you meet this person. It's just exhausting, and I just don't understand how it could be possible. Now, if we're talking on a bigger scale, on a much bigger scale, is the sun eventually gonna explode? Yeah. Is the galaxy going to drift apart eventually? Or collapse into some supermassive black hole? Possibly. And that could be the way that things just work and the way that they're going to happen. And on that grand scale, everything could have been predetermined, for sure. But on a tiny human scale, for everything to be predetermined is just so egotistical of a human being, to think that this whole universe and everything was created to impact or shape or guide your life, as if your life is so significant in the grand scheme of things. It's really not. All of human beings' existence is so small in the scheme of the just the observable universe. It has no more impact than a colony of ants under a tree. No more. So for us to think that there's some creator or some system in place to shape our lives is really vain, and something that humans do all the time. like astrology and you saying that the stars aligning in this special way on the day you were born and the minute you were born, stars that are billions of light years away or millions of light years away, and maybe the constellation that you're looking at is made up of stars that are millions of light years away from each other. They just appear to be lining up from our perspective. If you looked at it from another planet, it wouldn't look anything like a Taurus or whatever it is you think that's guiding your sad day that you're having. It's just another thing that human beings think was created for them. You know, it's just so strange. It's so strange to think that all of the cosmos is structured around, or not structured around, or that you can decide, you can see the future. You can see what a person's going to be like from how the stars align when they were born. That gives humans and human life such a high priority in the way things work that it's just stupid. Just like birthdays. It's not your birthday because you were not born today. You could say it's your birth date anniversary based on the calendar that we currently use. That's what it really is. And you are saying that there is some significance to the day that you were born so that you should celebrate it. So then we have to look at what that really means. Your birth date anniversary. So you're celebrating the anniversary of the date that you were born. What is a anniversary? It's a yearly celebration based on the current calendar we're using or whatever. And it's based on a date. What is a date? A date is a point in time. You can never relive a date. I cannot relive the minute that just passed. It's gone, and we can't ever get it back. Do I celebrate the fact that that minute passed and something great happened every minute? Why don't we celebrate birthday in terms of I was born on a Saturday, so every Saturday I'm going to throw a party? Or if you were born at 10:05 a.m., why not throw a party every day at 10:05 a.m.? There is not really a logical reason, in my opinion, to have a birthday or to celebrate a birthday. It's purely an emotional and social type of thing. If you are saying that the date is so important and so significant, then does that mean that that at that date, the point of the Earth's orbit that it was at in relation to the sun or in relation to the rest of the universe was so important that anytime it reaches that point in its orbit again, you're going to celebrate? Then you have to then question how accurate is the calendar. And am I in fact at the same date on the calendar at the same point in the Earth's orbit? Because if not, then what are we really talking about? What is the date really? And why is it important? So let's say, for argument's sake, that we are in the exact same point in the Earth's orbit on this date that it was, 30 years ago on this same date. So the Earth is at the same point in its orbit in our solar system. Is the solar system in the same place within the galaxy? Nope. Is the galaxy in the same place in terms of the universe? Nope. So we chose a nice, convenient one. Once a year, we just go based on the calendar. You'll get it once a year, every year. Just celebrate that. Just celebrate that you made it another year. when in reality you should be celebrating that you made it another day, every single day.